wave hello. Okay, we're going to start the new opening. Here we are.
Where does yesterday's future meet today's? Right here, right now. Here's Bonnie D.
I see any shoulders moving here, kids? Come on.
Where does yesterday's future land? When it finally shakes your hand, right at the edge of a brand new screen. Blink once and you know what I mean. The old world folds into a spark. One little switch in the dark. And tomorrow's knocking, just minutes away. Can you hear it rocking? Can you hear it say? Technology evolution, future of
now.
Future of now.
Future of now. Future of now. There we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Bonnie D. Still getting used to the new music. I love it. Guys, were you all dancing? Because I was just lost in the storm of jazz here. Pat, were you moving? Were you
I was moving. I was moving.
Charles, did you feel that jazzy beat?
I was impressed.
You were impressed.
My feet were jamming. Okay.
Okay. You got to take a shower. Mark, how about you? Were you jamming with it?
My feet were on fire.
Oh, okay. Well, you need to see a podiatrist then. Welcome, everybody, to Technology Revolution. I'm Bonnie D. Happy to be here. I have three very happy people, and they're happy because they're authors, they write, they're prolific, they have great imaginations, and they're joining me today to talk about this thing that some people hate, some people are afraid of. We're not either here. They're talking about AI as a tool, as something to help them, but not to do the writing. That's the important part of what we're doing today. So I'm going to welcome all of them with a special introduction. And when I call your name, just wave or do something so everybody knows who you are. Okay, I see us all on the screen here. So welcome to Technology Revolution, the future of now, where AI meets imagination. We'll explore the when, the where, and the how. Bonnie D on her Scarlett Mic is leading the way. The future of fiction authors and AI in our spotlight today. Charles Breakfield, wave hello. Pat Daly, wave hello. And Mark Morton, too. Predict how AI will help novelists perhaps streamline what they do. From historical research to formats, personas, and PR, collaborating, not replacing, so human authors are the star. Okay, now I have a special introduction for each of you. Charles, you're first. This is new, by the way. I have to do it every time you're on the show. We do a new one for you. Born into an Air Force family, Charles learned to adapt and roam. Moving every 2 years, he thought a cardboard box was home. As the eldest son, responsibility arrived at an early age, while global moves and new horizons set the backdrop for his stage. From Germany to Texas, he learned to navigate each change, though a Frankfurt football jacket made civilian life seem strange. At UT, he loved learning, but refused one major to declare, making the dean's list while proving he'd do things with flair. From comic books to telecom, high-tech innovation called his name, Charles. Through cybersecurity, networks, and AI, he helped to shape the game. Long before today's AI buzz, Charles explored intelligence security's role, watching emerging technologies transform business goal by goal. Now his enigma thrillers blend cyber risks with futures bold and bright, where innovation, danger, and human choices collide in every flight. Whether riding his Harley Swan or imagining tomorrow's next frontier, Charles brings us AI predictions through his futurist lens, so clear. Welcome. Did you like that one?
I did. I won't need my any time in my happy place today after hearing that. That was good. Thank you.
I'm glad. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I as I say, you're on so often, I have to redo it every time. And Sylvie and I work hard to update it and make it fresh. I like this one a lot. Here we go. Pat, you're next.
All right.
Raised in Seattle, Pat learned early some risks must be embraced, while others called adventurers forward to see how limits can be chased. Science, math, and aviation shaped the dreams Pat held so high, as astronautical engineering fueled ambitions toward the sky. At the U.S. Air Force Academy, future pathways came into view, then fighter jets and test flights taught what skill and courage can do. Expanding flight envelopes became a challenge Pat pursued, where physics writes the rules and every choice must be reviewed. From military service to startups, innovation stayed in Pat's sight, exploring human performance and technologies taking flight. Writing brought another risk, not involving speed or flame, but learning how to tell great stories and up the ante of the game. Now the Spark Chronicles blend science, heart, and futures drawing near, with characters facing challenges that make their choices dear. Whether hiking, traveling, or imagining tomorrow's next domain, Pat's AI's predictions will offer insights he'll be glad to explain. Pat, I hope you enjoyed that.
I did. I'm almost embarrassed listening to it, though. That's no, you got a future doing this, Bonnie.
Thank you. I'll tell Sylvie she's my partner in crime. I'll tell you later. Mark, you're next. Raised on the Canadian prairies, Mark grew up in quite a crew. 3 sisters, 4 brothers, and foster children passing through. While others dreamed of farming, books and language called his name, Mark, as dictionaries and encyclopedias fueled his early learning flame. His love of words and culture led down an academic road where Shakespeare, history, and language became treasures to decode. A PhD in English literature helped sharpen his mind and his pen, while years of teaching students sparked new ways to learn again. For CBC Radio, Mark explored how language shapes what we believe, showing how culture and communication influence what we perceive. He wrote books exploring food, history, and the stories people share, revealing how words connect us across time and place with care. After raising 4 adopted children, his fiction took to flight, depicting dystopian worlds to explore what's wrong and what's right. Whether studying language, culture, or humanities, changing terrain, Mark's AI predictions offer perspectives we'll be eager to gain. I hope you like that, Mark.
I really like that. It strikes me that, Charles and Pat both have aeronautics experience. I don't. I like to keep my feet on the ground because I
There you
don't
go.
like
That's
flying.
I'm with you, kid. So let me finish this with these vision-rich panelists. The future burns bright as AI helps novelists bring twisty concepts into the light. From complex story arcs to structure and to flow, how will AI lift the process so human authors still steal the show? And there you go. So how do I get a good grade for the opening, kids?
That's really good.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
like
That's really
that?
good. Mhm.
Well
Okay.
done.
Top of the class.
Thank you. Okay, I'll tell Sylvie. She's my partner in crime. So what I'd like to do is go around the table and have you connect the dots just a little bit more, please. So I'm going to go with Charles first, and then Pat in the open. Listen, somebody had to be first, somebody had to be third. Mark, it's just the way it goes. Okay. So Charles, I'd like you to connect the dots. Fill us in a little bit since the last time you were on. Just tell us a little more about what you've been up to, about Enigma, AI, anything you want to talk about. I'll give you about 3 minutes here, and then we'll go around the table and let's add a little more. Welcome back.
Well, thank you. I got really animated at the end of last year. We're doing book signings, and everybody wanted to talk about AI, and so I said, well, let's put together a. I had 2 books on artificial intelligence, where the good guys are having to fight the bad guys who have usurped the all the good stuff that was going to happen, and they turned it around. So I made a box set on that, and somebody groused. I think it was you, now that I think about it, um, that there should be 3 books in that box set, not just 2. So I went, yeah, why don't I do a 3rd one? So that's what I'm doing. I've got that rough draft completed. We're at right at 52,000 words, and high probability we'll be able to launch it in August.
That's lovely, and that's soon. But you've also written a children's book in the meantime. You want to tell everybody briefly what that's all about?
Yeah, we had had a challenge. That's kind of the way things work around here. Uh, I was asked to be able to write each week a something for Medium. Just a short, a couple hundred words, and bang done. And I got hooked on using the 2 characters that I really like, Trevor and Simone. They're actually dogs, but we turned them into life human beings, and I had a chance to be able to explore, the growth, the questions, you know, um, the the girl Simone, she's the challenging one. She likes to push the envelope, and Trevor's the one that's the logic. And oh no, this is the rules. And you get a chance to be able to bounce those ideas and those personalities off each other, and it made for a series of short little snippets and fun discussions. And then
Very
I
nice.
also I liked it so much I said, let's go ahead and generate some still images, graphics
Hmm.
of the characters, and put them in the headers of each one of the chapters to help set the stage for what was going to come.
And you
So
used AI for those images?
yeah, yeah, I taught myself how to be able to tell it, give it a prompt, and take a look at it and say, okay, let's do this again. All right, this didn't work, and I got a chance to be able to try several different AI engines for the graphic output that they did.
Nice.
Some of them were too cartoony, some of them were just
Yep.
spot on, some were just too many, wielding too many axes, so, that kind of thing. So you have to, it's the challenge is teaching it how to be able to produce something that's useful. And so
That you
I love
like, that you
that.
like.
Yeah,
That's,
that was would make for a good children's book in the age
thank
range
you.
from 10 to 15.
Thank you very much. Very, very interesting. Let's go around the table. Pat, I'm putting you on mute, putting you back on speaker view, and I'd love to hear a little bit more about what you've been up to, Mr. Daly.
Great, sure. Well, I've taken a little bit of a hiatus from my fiction writing to take on a nonfiction uh, book that deals with real world cybercrime that occurred. Uh, it doesn't really have any AI tie-in, although I could see where the nefarious people that commit these kind of crimes could easily multiply their unfortunate efficacy by using AI, and that's a little bit concerning. But I'm working on that. It's the first time I've worked with a co-author, so that's also interesting. And it's I'm finding myself in arguments that I never expected. Arguments over Oxford commas, for goodness sakes. It's whether or not what's appropriate and what manual of style are we using, APA or Chicago. It's a whole lot of fun. It's been very, very different. We argue over happy versus glad sometimes. So that's what I've been working on.
And I ask, how did you find this co-author, may I ask? And it's a human being,
Yep,
correct?
yep, human being, and I've known the individual for a long time, just through somebody I met through kids, and when they retired from their business life, they wanted to write the story of this cybercrime, and they reached out to me to help them with it, and so it's taken on some legs, and we'll see where it goes. Hoping to have the manuscript done and to the publisher by the end of the year, and then uh, maybe on shelves May timeframe next year.
Thank you very much. Very, very interesting. Mark Morton, it's been a while. Welcome back. Let's put you on speaker view and let's find out what's new with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Bonnie. Well, I guess since I was last on, I won a national award for best science fiction or fantasy in Canada, because that's where I'm located. Um, I've got a manuscript with a publisher right now, and I should hear back from them within a couple of weeks. They've been giving me sort of positive murmurings, so I'm hopeful about that. In the meantime, I've been writing some short stories, and I even started writing what I'm calling a long prairie poem. It's about 1,500 lines, sort of about like I grew up on a farm on the prairies in Saskatchewan, Canada. Um, and there's sort of a genre of prairie poems that sort of goes north-south, like from Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Alberta, down into Montana, Minnesota, and so on. It seems to be a long-standing genre. So I'm really enjoying doing that because it's letting me, not just letting me, it's kind of prompting me or uh, forcing me to sort of not rethink, remember a lot of things from childhood and growing up there. And that's been fun.
Did you say 1,500 lines?
Yes.
Okay. How did you decide that? Or were you just rambling? And I don't mean that word in a derogatory way, but how do you get to, I write poetry every week. I'm in an online poetry group and we get a prompt. And
Hmm.
mine can be 15 or 20 lines depending on what format I'm using. I'm the class clown
Hmm.
most of the time. Everybody's very, very serious, and I come out with these funny conversational stuff. Anyway, so how did you decide when, here's the question, how did you know when to stop?
Well, I sort of went through all of the episodes or scenes that I wanted to, and I think it was fortunate because prior to beginning it, I had figured out, what's the longest, um, what's the shortest, and what's the longest in terms of lines that a publisher would accept for a long poem, and it's got to be at least around 45 pages and probably no more than 80, and this would fall into about 50 pages, so it's sort of at the lower end of what a book publisher would publish. Um,
Interesting.
but yeah, it feels complete but not finished, if you know what I mean. I've got to go back, of course, and work on it and make sure that it's all making sense and coherent.
Is there a
But
format or a rhyme scheme? And I don't say that in any bad
yeah,
way, but
no, no, no. No, there's no rhyme scheme. It is in. I mean, I've read so much 16th century English literature that iambic pentameter is. I almost can't not write in
I
iambic
was going to ask
pentameter.
what the meter is. Yes, very
Yeah,
interesting. Thank you.
yeah. So that's what it is, more or
Thank
less.
you. Very interesting. I do a show here a couple times a year with three published poets. One of them you may know through your creative edge agency you all use, and some of you used to use. And they do live readings, but I take pieces of their poetry and put it into a PowerPoint, and
Mhm.
I display it, and then they do a live read, and then we comment around the table. If you're
Nice.
interested, Mark, you let me know. Okay,
Hmm.
I've got another
Sounds
one
good.
coming up in August, I think. Well, wonderful. Show's over. I'm so happy to update with all of it. Okay, no, let's go to the quotes. I've asked you each to send me a new fictional quote from a movie or a TV show or a song lyric. Charles, I'm going to start with yours. This is an interesting one, brief and to the point. It's a long quote, but the my lookup on it was brief. It was said by Sheldon Lee Cooper, PhD, SCD, played by the wonderful Jim Parsons, speaking to Raj Koothrappali. I think you all know where this comes from, played by Kunal Nayyar. The Big Bang Theory, the CBS sitcom from 2007 to 2019. I was an avid viewer. This is season 3, episode 4, called The Pirate Solution. It first aired October 12th, 2009. Raj has to find a new job or be sent back to India. Sheldon's solution leaves Leonard and Penny dealing with Howard as a third wheel. If you know the characters, you know the characters. Here's the quote Charles selected. There's a fine line between wrong and visionary. Unfortunately, you have to be a visionary to see it. What an interesting quote. Go ahead, tell us, what does this have to do with our topic? Go.
Well, I mean, it's all about timing. I mean, you've got the, if you're looking forward, you're visionary. You can see the things that could be, that should be, that you want to explore. And then the stuff that's wrong, that's always a backward view, looking over your shoulder, saying, "Well, that could have been better." Okay. They look like the two different directions from the same decision.
Hmm.
And that's a lot of what um, AI is being cast as is like, okay, this could be great, or it could be, really evil, and we but you can't tell that, until you look back and say, look at all the stuff that's happened that was terrific that we didn't count on. That's what I expect.
Interesting, very interesting. And by the way, I want to tell all of you that the closing 2 or 4 lines of your introductions today, I did battle with my Sylvie. She's my collaborateur. We speak in French a lot. I did battle with her on what I wanted the last 2 lines to say, how I wanted the rhymes to be, the words I wanted to use. I'm called the rhyme duplication police. That's what she calls me. I'm the tweak guard, and I will make sure that. And I wasn't happy with anything she suggested, and I came back and we went back and forth for about 10 minutes for each of you for just the last 2 to 4 lines of your introductions until I, the human, last I checked, was happy and felt I could. And we had a debate about whether it would be a good read on the air and whether it would flow and whether it would have a good rhythm and meter to it, Mark. And when I read it, and I won, of course. Charles, I was the visionary, and I won the
You're
war.
the visionary. Got it. Yeah,
I
I can
am.
believe that. Yeah.
I know you can. Okay, I just had to tell you. I'll tell Sylvia you liked your introduction. She'll be it's Sylvie.
Yeah.
Okay, Pat, I'm looking at your quote. This is an interesting one. It's spoken by the narrator guide, voiced by Stephen Fry, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, 2005 sci-fi comedy film. Let's see now. We know that Douglas Adams co-wrote the screenplay with Carrie Kirkpatrick. The film is dedicated to Douglas Adams, who died in 2001 before production. The film grossed over $100 million worldwide. And you want me to read a little about the synopsis of it, or should I just go to the quote, Pat? What would you like?
Oh, go to the quote.
Just go to the quote. Okay, here we go. Interesting. Space is big. You just won't believe how vastly, hugely, mind-bogglingly big it is. Okay, Pat, I hope I did justice to that. Go ahead. Tell us.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Thank you, dear. Go ahead. What does this mean to our topic? Go.
Well, just a little background. The distance between the Earth and the Moon is enough to put every other planet in our solar system lined up edge to edge and still have space. So, we think about how big Jupiter is and all this stuff. Well, still, the space between us and our nearest neighbor is bigger than that. So I think when we think about AI, we tend to think small, and that scares us. We think about what it's going to take away, and that scares us. But I think, like we were talking about in the pre-show, Bonnie, about what it can do to help people that have never experimented with certain things and to broaden our horizons. It's got capability way beyond large language models and helping us write better emails. So I think when we start thinking about AI, we need to widen our perspective a little bit to look for those really wonderful things that it can do for us.
Did you just say that? We have to brand that. We have to put a trademark. The wonderful things it can do for us. Thank you,
Yeah.
Pat.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. That's refreshing. That's what we're here for. I tell people, you want to go bash, trash, smash, and do everything bad about AI, go somewhere else. This show is about the possibilities, the opportunities. It's here. Get over it. It's not going away. So what are we going to do about being humans who use it well and make it better? That's all I can say. Thank you very much. That was lovely, Pat. Okay, let's go to Mark's quote. Mark, you're really challenging me to read this in Italian, but I will. So just let me tell everybody what it is. This is a nonsense song. It's a parody of a popular 1917 French song, Titine, je cherche à Tatine. It's in Charlie Chaplin's Modern Times, 1936, part talkie. That's the part we're talking about. Satirical slapstick comedy film. It's produced, scored, co-edited, written, and directed by Charlie Chaplin. It was his last performance as the iconic Little Tramp. His character struggling to survive in the modern, boy, this is appropriate for us, the modern industrialized world, blah, 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 blah. And the song, I'm looking for it, Titine, Je cherche à Titine, I look for in French, was first sung by Frenchman Leo Donny Derf with lyrics by blah, blah, blah. You wouldn't know the names. Chaplin sings a gibberish song with elements of English, French, Italian, Spanish that makes no sense. He's lost the words he wrote in English on his cuffs. Okay, so this is comic nonsense, and you have to tell us what this has to do. But let me see if I can possibly read this correctly here. Bear with me. Si bella guisatore, je notre sa cafore, je notre si cavore, je la tu, la ti, la toi. Okay. Mark, you want to give me a grade on that one?
I think that's pretty good, in terms of my ability to speak nonsense Italian.
I didn't rehearse it, so this was cold. So go ahead, rescue me, please. What does this mean to our topic today? I'm letting you get away with this one. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's one of my favorite movies, maybe my very favorite movie. And I think it relates in this way. Like prior to that scene, and that scene is very, very close, second last scene of the movie. The only people who speak in the movie are sort of the captains of industry, and that captain of industry speaks through a TV screen all the way back in 1936. So it's this sense of technology that is doing all the speaking. So in that scene that you were just referring to, yeah, that's the one where Chaplin metaphorically and literally finally finds his voice, or the tramp character, I should say, finds his voice. Um, and Pat, yeah, was referring, when we were chatting before we began about some of the ways that AI can help people find their voice or their métier. And so that's how I see it connecting because, yeah, prior to that, it's like machinery and automation has taken away the voice of people in that movie. And Chaplin finally finds it at the end. And even though it's gibberish, it still is meaningful to his audience because, he just performs it so well. They love it. He becomes a big hit with it. So that's the connection I'm trying to make.
Thank you very much. That was very interesting. I'm glad you liked my read. I could have said anything and you probably would have said it was okay. Charles and Pat wouldn't have known the difference. That's okay. Thank you for the quotes, gentlemen. I appreciate it. When was the last time people called you gentlemen? Don't say a word. Okay, but I digress. Okay, got to keep you smiling. Let's go to the predictions. We've got lots of time left. We did all that in the first 27 minutes of the show. We got plenty of time. So, Charles, I'm going to your prediction number 4. They were all great, but I think this one will resonate. And the theme is, how will AI help, support, collaborate, be a tool for fiction authors, which you all are, but not the writing. And we're focusing on not the writing, but the surrounding infrastructure, whatever you need to get the job done. So I'm going to go to number 4, and I think we'll all appreciate this one. I do. So Charles says, AI will assist authors in creating compelling pitch decks for potential movie or TV adaptations. Pat's already saying, Mark's not sure. By analyzing the book's plot, characters, and themes, AI will generate visual storyboards, mood boards, even sample dialogue scenes. These decks will be tailored to production companies, highlighting the market potential and visual appeal of the story. I'm going to let you tell us more rather than me read the details, Charles. This is very well done. Why don't you tell us, are you using this yet? Do you think you will? And go ahead, take over.
Well, I've done it both ways. I mean, I started, I said, okay, I'm going to go figure out how to be able to do my own pitch deck. Okay, look it up. Where's the definition? Here's the metrics that you have to be able to observe. This is what they're looking for, and it's a big jump. And there's actually I've talked with several producers and at the Austin Film Festival, and they all had pretty much the same thing to say. I don't have a whole lot of time. You will be pitching to people who don't have a whole lot of time. And you've got to distill everything down to, and I actually went through one of the competitions, and you have 90 seconds to be able to pitch me on the idea. And if I like it, the words that they'll say is, tell me more. So doing that was like a couple-week exercise. You do it, you try it out. The family members get so tired of you practicing on them. They see you coming with your materials, and they run this. You can clear a room in minutes. Okay.
Go ahead.
So yeah, but having an okay, turn this over to an AI engine. Say, build me this. I mean, these all take an extreme amount of a lot amount of time, but you still get to be able to grade it, polish it, and say, okay, try it on me. And that's that's where we having the AI engine read it back to you with the nuances, the subtleties, the inflections in your voice. That's what makes it. That's where the pitch of the human. It gets the extra polish from the input from the AI engine that says, here's the raw materials. How do you want to assemble it? And the assembly part, it becomes more polishing, more discussion. Let me try this again. And all the different things that you need to be able to put together a pitch deck, to be able to, comparisons. You need, some dialogue examples. This is a lot like, Jaws meets Predator, kind of, this is what, how to describe your work sometimes they'll tell you this, you're too close to it. Have somebody describe it
Mm,
to you.
mm.
And then it's like, oh, that's not what I meant. Or is that what you see? And that's where you start challenging. Um, just take what's offered to you. It gets you to think. And that's what I like about the that prediction is
Yeah.
it has here's some tools to be able to help you become that pitch deck professional.
Interesting. And the whole concept of is my book or my series ready for movies or TV? Would somebody have that uh, visionary POV point of view to say, yeah, there's something here. People will want to see this on a screen somewhere. Let me go around the table and see Mark, and let me start with you, Mark, and then Pat. Thoughts, just bounce off what Charles just predicted. Would you use it? Is this something that would work for you? Are you thinking of taking your books to that level? I won't say the next level. Mark, what do you think?
Well, it prompted me to think of something that hadn't occurred to me before,
Mm,
which is that sometimes probably every writer you kind of get down about what you're writing and you think, should I keep going? And you lose motivation. And I've never done this, but I'd be interested in those moments of interacting with an AI platform and saying, I'm feeling down. Can you kind of give me a boost? Can you help me get out of the writing doldrums? Like a writing therapist almost. So I'd be interested in trying to use it that way.
Yeah, yeah,
Charles, go
and that
ahead.
yeah, and that's where I see a lot of potential for you know you've been there, Mark. You too, Pat. You've written something that's like, you know what? That sounds kind of cheesy.
Mhm.
Can't this be any better? Can't you? Do and you do that back and forth with something that maybe not quite as harsh as some of the ones that I've played with, where they said, gee, this has all the appeal of a name tag that you wear on at a conference. Okay, those are
Ugh.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, all right, these work. Okay, I need something more encouraging than that. Okay, so uh, but to be able to challenge it and have you challenged, say, can't they make help me make this better? What did I do? Where did I lose the traction that
Mhm.
I started with, and I could see that as being quite valuable and innovative. I mean, if nothing else, it'd just be fun being able to debate yourself
There is
because
fun.
because it's like, okay, you want abuse, I can abuse you. You want advice, I can give you advice. I mean,
Talk back to me, please.
yeah,
I'm in the doldrums and I'm lonely. Talk back. I'm going to stop there because I want to see what Pat has to say, and then I have a comment. Thank you, Charles. Pat,
mhm,
what do you think? Would you use this? Do you use this? Are your
I
books ready for movies?
oh, I think they are. They
There you
are, but
go.
Steven Spielberg hasn't called me yet, so I'm waiting. Uh, but I love the idea, and one of the things that really resonated with me, Charles, was the whole preservation of the family aspect of this, because I know I have pestered my wife and daughters to the point that they really don't want to hear about it anymore. My wife even got to the point where she said, "We're done. I'm not talking about this book with you
Wait a minute. What do you
anymore
mean we're
until it's
done? That's
published."
done or we're done? Okay, go
Yeah, we're
ahead.
done on the topic. And so it was like, ooh, I guess I pushed a little too hard too often on that. So I like the idea that, if you irritate the AI agent,
They'll love
yeah,
you tomorrow. Trust me,
yeah,
they'll still love you tomorrow.
absolutely.
I want to go back to the 90-second part, Charles, about the pitch deck,
yeah,
separate from the needing a psychologist to get you out of the doldrums
mhm,
and alleviating family angst because you've gone to them too often. The 90 seconds, to me, that's a distillation of saying, what have you got here that I could present to somebody in 90 seconds and tell them what's on your pen, what's in your heart, what is the core, the guts of this story that would make it compelling enough for somebody to say, Spielberg, you better call Pat Daly.
mhm,
So that's my
yeah,
point. So go back to that 90 seconds, Charles, just briefly before we move on. I want to know more about
yeah.
that.
Um, they all the producers that I spoke with at the film festival, they all said the same thing. I said, I'm not going to read your book. Nobody's going to read your book. You've got to tell me in 90 seconds, and it better be crisp, great bullets, enthusiasm. I need to see the vision that you have in that time frame. Otherwise, I got 10 more people right behind you, and if they do it correctly, their book gets pitched, and it goes on and on and on because here's a producer. Okay, I need a director, and that pitch deck is your business card.
Well put. There's see, we end up with iconic moments here. That was another one. That was great. Thank you. Very well done. Okay, let's move on. Charles, you didn't know I was going to react like that to that one. There was so much. That's why I like the roundtable part of my show where we get to talk about it because we all brought out different aspects of what resonated with each of us on our own level. So thank you very much. Pat, I'm going to your prediction number 1. I like this. A little interesting, a little different here. You say authors will use AI to create interactive avatars. Instead of just sending out newsletters, authors will train their author bots or conversational clones on their complete backlist and personal writing style. Readers will be able to, quote unquote, I like my air quotes, chat with the author's AI to discuss lore, ask about the Easter eggs, or debate character decisions in real time. This is really packed. Pat, you want to literally unpack it for me, please?
Yeah,
we'll go around
absolutely.
The table. Go ahead.
You go to a book fair and it's a lot of feast or famine. There's a lot of times where you're standing at your book table or your display doing nothing. But then suddenly 5 or 6 people will come by. Some of them are already fans. They've already read your stuff and they really want some time with you. And I love to give them that time. But at the same instant, I am ignoring the others who have come maybe with cash in hand, to acquire some of my work. So I think if you can do this and you can do this online, because I spam out stuff on my website, on my socials, and unless you get a reaction, it's always hard to know where it's gone or if it's even been considered. And yet, if you can do a reasonable facsimile of you as an author, then you can interact with everyone that's ever picked up your book or ever read your book and had a question about like, well, why did Farrell do this? Or that doesn't seem in character. And I know like Orson Scott Card has his Hat Track River site where he invites readers to interact with him as he's writing. So they get to see early drafts. And I think an author bot could help you do this as well. Not just the stuff that Charles talked about, but actual feedback from the real human readers and hopefully producers that get into it. And sometimes, I throw a bunch of Easter eggs into my books, and I don't know if they always land with the audience. And it would be nice to get a little feedback that says, I was curious about this. So
I want you to explain briefly what an Easter egg is because all of us, I know, understand it, but there might be some people at a higher age level or a much lower one who have never heard of an Easter egg. And I'm supposed to whisper because that's what you do with Easter eggs. So, okay. Pat, just tell us briefly, what is an Easter egg?
Okay, an Easter egg. Okay, an Easter egg is something that an author drops into a work that it may be, some of the ones I've used have been Star Trek references that are just dropped into the middle of the work. And what you hope is that someone will discover that and go, oh, so I know that he's a fan as much as I'm a fan. And so little things that are subtle shout outs to other people's work, or, sometimes it can be a shout out to your own work. I guess you could drop Easter eggs to other stuff you've written. But yeah, that's what an Easter egg is.
Cultural reference, hoping for an aha moment.
Yep.
Interesting. Charles, why don't you go first and talk about what Pat said in terms of the author bot? What do you think? Do you have one?
I don't at this point. The things that I'm really more interested in are the visuals to go along with it, because that's the segue to if I can help you visualize what my words look like, then perhaps I have an easier time to being able to explain to you this is movie material or for TV. So the generative AI engines that I play with, I've got another video that I just put together for The Dream, which is another children's book. It lends itself, to the that storytelling, and that's those are the things that I like. And but to your point, Pat, whenever somebody challenged us on a topic, we had this one reader. She I got flame mail for two different books from her. Well, this character is disgusting, despicable, and cannot be redeemed. I don't understand why you've got her in this. She's a femme fatale, and it just I'm astonished that you keep her around. By the third episode with her in it, I get this note back that says she's redeemable. Oh my God, I love this character.
That person is very invested in your characters, Charles.
They were invested, and and a lot of times we would take such suggestions, to your point, and do a short story separate as a backstory for the major novel. I mean, all the material, you can't put everything in one book, and sometimes it's like, okay, so you end up with this genealogy, this your universe. With backstories, okay, where'd this character come from? Oh, here's the story from, what happened to them after the story? Here's the backstory for what happened after the failed enterprise. Fun exercise, and it gave us the chance to be able to say, good comment. Here's what we did to reply to them. So it was a nice interaction that created a stream of additional material.
Thank you. I like the genealogy concept. Mark, what are your thoughts on what Pat shared in his prediction and what Charles commented? Go ahead.
Yeah, this idea of an author bot, that just blows my mind. I've never thought about something like that. It makes me think it's almost like having your own sort of literary butler who can find or going further back in history. There used to be what were they
Waiting
called?
for the female counterpart of that, but I'm not going to egg you on.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was going to say
Well,
Keisha, but no. Okay.
there's the role
I
from
embarrassed
hundreds
Charles.
of years
Go
ago,
ahead. Go ahead.
the amanuensis, which was somebody who was always at the hand of an author and would fetch books for them, would write if they got tired, read to them. Yeah, so like having
Ballet,
just having
butler.
yeah, valet is a good way of
Ballet.
putting it.
Okay.
That's fascinating. Yeah.
Interesting. Pat, had you thought about that?
I had not, but I do like it. I mean, right now we kind of do that ourselves,
Yeah.
but the idea to just be able to say, yeah, fetch me the data behind my assertion that the Mars Climate Observer was a failure of NASA's of epic proportion, and then I can fact check myself. Actually, I'm using the AI to do it, but I can do it much more quickly. I like that.
There you go. And by the way, Charles, I think one of on my Say What Good News show, I know you're a fan of that, and I'm going to introduce Pat and Mark to my it's 5 days a week, and it's about 4.5 minutes a day. And I pick up a couple stories that most people wouldn't have heard of. I think the Bronte sisters, one of the manuscripts just went on auction in the original cloth cover, and the comment was that and this was it wasn't Jane Eyre, it was one of the other Brontes. There are three: Charlotte and Jane, Charlotte and Emily, and the other one. Anyway, the point was that they said when one of those books came out, we're talking hundreds of years ago, it was panned as disgusting and vulgar. I just wanted you to know, but I think they redeemed themselves. The auction went for a lot of money. Okay, Pat, are you good? Can I move on? I think
I'm good. Move on.
That was very, very interesting. Mark, I'm picking on two of your predictions. I'm going to combine them, number 2 and number 3. You don't have to find them. I've got them here. So Mark says the following. AI will continue to be used to make formatting updates in manuscripts. Listen up. This could range from changing a character's name, for example, find all instances of Sean, S-E-A-N, and change it to Sean, S-H-A-W-N, to change the tense of the narrative from past to present or back the other way, or even changing the narrative perspective from first person to third person or back the other way. That's the first one. The second one, you say AI will do the job that is or used to be done by developmental editors and fact checkers. One of you mentioned fact checking, reviewing the manuscript to find errors or inaccuracies regarding historical events, timelines, and other potential inconsistencies. Mark, why don't you unpack this for us, please? And then we'll see what Pat and Charles have to say. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I guess the metaphor that I had in my head was almost as if the manuscript that you've written, um, that it becomes a spatial thing and it allows you to kind of walk around it and look at it from different angles in the sense that, you might say to yourself, yeah, what would this sound like in third person instead of first person? Or what would this sound like if I put these events in reverse order or something like that. So I think it yeah, it allows you to have different perspectives on the novel and to see what's working, what's not working. I'm not saying that the AI engine would make those decisions for you, but it would just facilitate your ability to think about it in different ways. And yeah, and then as far as the doing the work of developmental editors and fact checkers. I mean, the better, the cleaner a manuscript can be when you send it to a publisher, the better. So if they don't have to spend a lot of money hiring a developmental or a fact checker, that's great. I've done freelance work as a fact checker, and I really enjoy doing that. Looking things up in history and so on, but it's an expense that I think publishers have to take into consideration. So if you can preclude that from your book because it's from your manuscript because it's in such great condition, I think that will make it more enticing to a publisher.
Interesting. And there's also the question of speed and the question of what
Mhm.
does the AI engine have access to? What is it
Yeah.
trained on? What history can it find? And we don't want to talk about hallucinations, but there's that danger. But speed also, it could be done. Yes, I know, much faster. Let's go around the table. Pat, why don't you comment on Mark, and then we'll get to see what Charles has to say. Go ahead, Pat.
A couple of things that popped into my mind as Mark was talking. One was the ability to use this as a continuity checker. And
Mm.
and just like I mean, like they do in TV and the movies, make sure that the coffee cup is at the same level or the same coffee cup. You can have that checked in your manuscript, but also you said you can do it spatially, and that immediately put me into what if you could have your AI work with you in a VR or AR kind of environment where you can
Hmm.
literally walk through the pages of
Mhm.
your work and get a better feel for the organization and the flow. I think that's a really cool idea.
Mhm. Mhm.
We're looking for cool ideas. Charles, you have any cool ideas based on what Mark proposed?
Um, yeah, I thought that was being able to time to money discussion, being able to, but I've caught that same, you read, you reread, and you find something like, okay, they did something on this page in this chapter, and the next page, that's 6 months later, or is it 20 minutes later? I've got it wrong. Oh, gee,
Mhm.
catching those time sensitive episodes. Did I give them enough time to be able to get to the next scene? I think that would be very valuable. Again, that fact checker, the spatial attribute that you had indicated. I'd like to be able to kind of alert you both, and you too, Bonnie. There's a gentleman out of Canada, John Teague, and he has a product that basically will do that AI bot assignment that we were talking about earlier.
Mhm.
And the way that they build it, they basically build it so that it sounds like you.
Mhm.
And you have to teach it to be able to respond like you. So, and you give it your voice so that if you're going to use it for, that character interaction discussions for, somebody said, geez, this evil character you had, or this peculiar data center called the Bonnie data center. Where did you come up with that idea? And that's one of those things. It's like teaching it your voice and how to be able to respond so that it sounds and works like you do.
Thank you.
That's a very, very powerful tool that he offers.
Very interesting. Mark, anything you
Mhm.
want to say back? We got about 4 minutes left, and I have something I want to talk about before we close. But Mark, anything back to your colleagues on the panel?
Well, again, just occurred to me, and it's maybe more something that scholars or academics would do with an author's works, which is if they had access to all of the different drafts of an author's given novel, I think AI could be really useful in helping them sort of study how the author developed it from stage to stage, what decisions they made, how it grew. I think that would be really, really interesting.
Thank you. Thank you all for your great predictions. I decided on Monday night my creativity show, which I now call the Creativity Spark Show. Pat, I just wanted you to know that there is a Creative Spark podcast for teachers to bring more energy into their classroom teaching. I discovered, but I'm riffing on the name. Anyway, the point was that my guests, who are mostly nonfiction authors on my Monday show, we talk about creativity and our muses and our habits and our styles and how we write. Do people write handwriting on sticky notes? Do they dictate? Do they use a tablet? Do they write inside? Do they write in the middle of the night? How do they get their ideas? We talk about that. And I realized it had become a workshop where we were sharing ideas around the table. And that's just what I've experienced with the three of you, because these predictions weren't just, oh, yeah, I like it, I don't like it, it's good, it's not, I've never used it, move on. You've all absorbed and we've reflected on each other's predictions. I don't think I've ever seen it done to that level that the three of you just did. And you made me very happy. I want you to know that.
Good.
Also, as far as training AI, I have to tell you, breaking news here. I did on my Say What show this morning. Charles, you'll see it when you watch the show. There's a company based in Germany that will send you two college-age kids with baseball caps and a camera on and Clorox wipe-its, and they will clean your house or your apartment for free, and they'll send you a chef who will prepare a gourmet Bronzino lunch for you, all for free, with a baseball cap on, and they have cameras. They send the footage to an AI lab to analyze it, to train robots that will be able to do house cleaning for you. The people who do the service are paid about $30 an hour. That's whatever, I don't know what city they're in, but I thought that was very interesting. They want to see how the chef turned the fish in the pan and how he did. They want to know the arm movements. It's something
Yeah.
echo human, something like that. So that is happening. So let's go around the table. I don't know why I told you that, but I did. Okay. Charles, since you were first, let's make you first. I want to know, what's your favorite book of all the books you've written? Do you have a favorite book that you just want to tell in 1 minute, tell everybody about? That's all we have is 1 minute per each. Actually, 40 seconds. Go ahead.
Oh, wow. That's like asking you, which one of your kids you like best. Okay, I mean, come on, this is
Well, I
awful.
have two,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
a 50
yeah,
50.
okay, yeah.
Which
Depends
one of
upon
my
the,
shows I like best? I have about
okay, all right,
1,000 shows. I'll beat you on
okay,
that one. Go ahead.
okay, yeah. I'd have to say the book that I'm writing currently, The Enigma Reckoning,
Yeah.
because it ties together the pieces that I left orphaned. That's not quite fair to say it that way, because I don't like leaving cliffhangers. I don't like them, and I won't deliver that to the readers. So, but there was room for what happens next, and I like that attribute.
Pat, favorite book you want to tell people about?
Probably my favorite is my latest one, Embers, and
Okay.
it's the conclusion of the conclusion, to steal Bonnie's air quotes, uh, of
I'm real
the
good
Spark
at that.
Chronicles. Yeah,
Thank you.
because I finally wrap up a lot of the story arcs that started in the first book, and there's a bit of a satisfaction to going, okay.
Good, good, good. All right.
Well,
Mark, what's your favorite book? We're running out of time.
it's the one that is currently with a publisher. It's called The Child I Once Was, and I think the reason I really like it is because you mentioned that my wife and I adopted four older children, and in this book I've sort of tried to weave themes pertaining to adoption and discovery of identity and things like that, and
Thank you.
I really enjoyed doing that.
Thank you. I want to thank the three of you. This has been delightful, delicious, enriching in so many ways. Thank you for going with the flow and helping me turn this into a really interactive workshop roundtable where we shared ideas. But I love the way you were surprised a little bit, and the air quotes. I could see the ideation happening.
Mm.
Yeah, I never thought about that. Well, maybe I'll try that. This is why I do this. And I thank you. And let's put on some closing music and stick around. We'll talk afterwards if you got a couple seconds for me. Let me see. Where is the closing here? Open, closing, Tech Rev.
Here's Bonnie D.
It's only 40 seconds. Bear with me.
Where does yesterday's future land? When it finally shakes your hand, right at the edge of a brand new screen. Blink once and you know.
You know what I mean.
Technology evolution, future of now, the future of now, the future of now. Technology evolution, future of now, the future of now, the future.
We're just going to stop that. Thank you. Wave goodbye.